Hi there, welcome back to the Apatros review. In this episode, Warhead, also known as Prison in the Middle, a telepic that got a limited theatrical release in 1977. It's actually made around 1974-ish. Hi there, welcome back to the Apatros review. I'm your host, Mili Sipica, and join me as I take you on a ride through the wild world of science fiction action horror, all from my personal DVD collection of a whole heap of DVDs, plus a few Blu-rays, videotapes, TV shows, and video games, and even a few books. Now in this episode, we'll look at the film Warhead. No, not that 90s action film Warhead. There's actually a couple of films of that title. But no, a 1977 film called, originally called Prison in the Middle. Or maybe that was the alternate title. Anyway, it was directed by John O'Connor. No, not the Terminator John Connor. Different guy. A TV actor. This was like his only directorial film. But that Terminator connection is a little weird because the guy who did the photography for this film was Adam Greenberg, who also did photography for the first two Terminator films, believe it or not. Actually, the first Terminator film. Anyway, now this film is squarely a public domain title, so poor quality copies will be found in many penny ante DVD operators. This review print of mine is from Flashback Entertainment, which has passable quality but has a rough feel to it. Now, one of the very last films that were released that featured David Janssen in it, a short time later, Swiss Conspiracy came out, and then in 1980 Janssen died of a heart attack. This telepic that somehow got released in a limited theatrical run is a good example of how a modestly promising concept, in this case a US Air Force colonel is sent into the Jordanian desert to disarm an accidentally dropped experimental nuclear warhead, only to find himself caught up between a war between an elite Israeli military unit and a group of Arab raiders, with the title of Warhead being the prize. It's pretty much turned to mush by a lack of character development, a slow pace, and the ridiculously over-the-top stereotyping that was used for the two warring sides. Now, to be honest, on paper alone, Warhead, which was released in some places as Prison in the Middle, both titles are accurate so you can simply choose your favorite title if you want, was pretty decent enough, but one-shot director John O'Connor wastes the story in the sea of bland desert locations and violent but mediocre in the execution action scenes that hobbles the film badly. For what really sours the viewer's mouth is a ridiculous attempt by the filmmakers to portray the Israeli soldiers as innocent saints. Look, while I have great respect for the Israeli nation and support their right to exist in the world, the way they're portrayed here is just too cartoonishly monochrome for things to work fully. And the Arabs as murder and rapists, which throws out any sort of middle ground for reality to engage in. So that stereotype is pretty bad. The acting is a bit of a mixed bag given the stereotyping that has been given to the characters, although it must be said the cast do give it a decent shot, so I'm not going to be too critical on the actors. The film's shootouts and battle scenes have a slight air of competence to them, but the way the climactic battle occurs is just too cartoonish for my taste. Soldier A kills Soldier B, only to be capped by Soldier C, who then gets taken out by Soldier D, and so on. David Janssen goes for the proceedings of a silly attitude that gives one the suspicion he's not happy at all to be there, only in it for the paycheck. The film gets a C from me, a 4 out of 10, a strictly average military thriller hokum from the 1970s. And like I said, there's a lot of stereotyping here. I'm not going to get into the politics between Israel and Palestine. That's not the remit for this show. But I mean, to be honest, the Israelis and the Palestinians have been enemies since biblical times. Nothing's going to change. Now for gore nudity, there's no gore nudity scene here, although a captured Israeli soldier is assaulted. Now as for the DVD, like I said, this is a public domain title, and you're going to find cheap DVDs of this pretty much anywhere. Now my copy actually was part of a multi-pack, one of those cheap ones from Flashback Entertainment. I think it was a Adventure or something, a series? I'm not sure. I mean, the quality looked pretty average, given it was taken from an old film reel or something, but the quality isn't too bad. But so if you do find the flashback print, it might be one of the better ones out there. So that's it for that review. A little brief, but couldn't help with this one. Now I don't do requests, but if you want to know if I have a particular film in my collection, just hit me up in the comment section. I'll answer. Hope you guys are staying safe. I'm getting close to the end of this season. There'll be another D Spectrum at the end of the year, and I'm gonna do like a year in review of 2020. So keep an eye out for that. Hope you guys are staying safe, and that's it for this review.